everybody, welcome to Mind Gap Podcast. I'm Doug.
I'm Justin.
And happy Thanksgiving to you. Happy Thanksgiving, especially all the Jews, because this is a Jewish holiday based on the Jewish holiday of giving thanks. I think that's what I was taught. No, I was from Missouri. We weren't taught anything about the Jews. Well, we were taught some things about the Jews, but not the good
all
stuff.
Of them very incorrect and very outdated.
Yeah, not good. Not good.
Same with Thanksgiving.
Yeah. It's really funny when I think about, I specifically remember, I think it was first or second grade. I love how I say I specifically remember, but I can't remember if it's first or second grade.
It was between kindergarten and senior year of high school.
I remember one of those years we dressed up, half the class was pilgrims, the other half were Native Americans, and it's like, yay! What's up?
That's not what you called them at the time.
Nope. And I didn't say what we called them at the time.
Very incorrect.
Yeah.
Yep.
And it was like, look at it. This is great. Look at this. Half of us are this, half of us are that, and we're getting along. That is not what happened.
Incredible. The stories we're fed in this country as school children, and how much as school children we have no reason to think otherwise.
Mm-hmm.
There's no reason not to buy into what we're told.
Yeah.
And it is such a romantic notion. Like, whoever created that version of the story of the first Thanksgiving must have worked on rom-coms in the 80s and 90s, because they were flawlessly executed.
Yeah.
Just really like, oh my God, what a great notion. These people from a foreign land come to these people who are inhabiting this land, and they got together, and there were cornucopias. There's gourds.
Yeah.
Lots of gourds.
Some of these folks were struggling and they needed help. And wouldn't you know it, the indigenous people were like, we're going to help these people that are struggling. We're going to share a meal. We're going to break bread. We're going to teach you how to sow your seeds into the land and make corn.
Yes.
Damn it. We all got better because of it.
Lovely story.
Listen, I get it. It's hard to be like, yeah, so our ancestors essentially ravaged the land here. We came here and we just sort of took it. We spread a lot of diseases. We weakened them, and then we just kept taking. And we kept taking, and those people are barely alive today.
Yeah.
But, there's something to be said for confronting your past, I'd argue. Knowing where you came from really is important.
Oh, for sure. Yeah. I feel like I don't know what age, like, at some point, you definitely need to start teaching the real history, if you will.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm wondering, like, what age is that? That's the proper age. Is it right away? I could see arguments that could say, right away. Why feed any sort of lie into this?
I think what my plan is.
Yeah.
My plan is, like, I'm not going to lie to her about it, but I will correct her. If she's like, Dad, we learned that the Native Americans and the Pilgrims were best buddies. I'm like, that's not true, actually. What happened was, and I will tell her, but I'm also not going to be like, Natalie, it's Saturday. Are you ready for the weekend? Guess what? Before we get started, here's a little tidbit about the Pilgrims. Like, I want to correct her. What was it? I think it was on last January for Martin Luther King Day.
Sure.
And at school, like, she was learning, the legit stuff about Martin Luther King. One of the kids in her class goes, he was murdered. He was shot and killed. I told that to Charity, who was on the show a while ago. She goes, man, that kid's woke as fuck. And I was like, right? Like, that kid's parents are like, you're going to learn what happened to this man.
Oh, shit, man, yeah.
Yeah, it's interesting. Because honestly, I think people don't realize that kids can really handle information. They may not fully grasp it. And I'm not saying I'm going to show her, the movie Hostel and be like, let's get into this,
They may not need to know the gory details, but at least the truth of what happened.
Mm-hmm.
As they get older, then the details can kind of unfold themselves. But yeah, I don't think there's any reason to start off with any semblance of a lie out the gate. It's a disservice to everyone involved. Yeah,
I agree. And that's kind of what sometimes I have to tell Natalie, like, when you're older, we can talk more about it just because these concepts are complicated. It's hard for me to describe what religion is in a neutral way right now. Like, I I want to, but you're not going to understand the concept of God.
Also, Daddy has his own preconceived judgments on religion. So,
and, and she's asked that before. She's like, Dad, what's that building? Is that a library? I'm like, no, that's a church. Oh, what's a church? Well, it's a place where people go when they want to sort of celebrate, and they want to. It's hard to describe what praying is, and it's just not part of what we do.
I would start by just saying it's a place where people feel obligated to go once a week, where they get crackers and wine.
Yes, where they are slowly earning up enough hypothetical capital to then cash in at a certain point in their life when they die to go to a place that's made of clouds and white people.
Bingo.
Mm-hmm.
And that, Natalie, is Christianity.
There you go.
Moving on.
Next week, Muslims.
Natalie is going to be the most well-rounded child I think we've seen in a while.
Well, my goal is to be as truthful with her as possible, so that she's very curious, and I want to definitely encourage it. I want to encourage her curiosity. I want her to ask questions, and she does ask a lot of questions, and sometimes it's exhausting. And sure. I'm just like, can we just not ask questions right now? But also at the same time, she and I are inventing games every day, and they will make no sense to anybody else, but there are little games. And I love it. Like just last night, I don't even know. This happened less than 24 hours ago, and I can't even remember like the genesis of what happened. But what it was is she asked me a question and said, why? And I turned back and go, well, let me ask you a question. Why? And she goes, well, let me ask you a question. Why? I go, no. Okay, that's a good question. Let me ask you a question. Why? And it became this game where you would try to insert why and catch it there. It's almost like playing the game, like.
Ah, damn it.
Yeah. So, we let it go for a couple minutes. I go, oh, Natalie, you know what I learned today? She's like, what? I go, why? And then, of course, she immediately goes, Dad, you know what I learned today? Why? And she would just repeat what I did.
Yeah.
I got to the point where I went downstairs and it was Jill's turn to like go in and do her bedtime routine. I go, hey, this is not going to make any sense, but this is what I need you to do. All right, you're going to go up there. You're going to say, hey, Natalie, got some really important news to tell you. You need to get in close. You need to whisper in her ear. You need to say why. Jill just goes, okay. And apparently it didn't have the effect at all. Like Natalie just stared at her. And then Natalie goes, hey, Mom, why? And just like did it right back to her. So we just do this stupid shit all the time. Like we're just constantly. Yeah. And she's been doing a really good job of playing along, which is what I love about her, because we're going to have so many dumbass games. Like when we say the same word at the same time, which normal people call a jinx, we have to say the following phrases, and you have to say them at the same time. You have to say peanut butter egg dirt, booba stank, TJ fart face, and then you have to lean your head back and say woo. It's a thing that we all do as a family.
Peanut butter fart face.
Peanut butter egg dirt.
Peanut butter egg dirt.
Booba stank. TJ fart face. Woo.
Fart face. Woo.
Yeah.
Okay. That's, you know what? Not even gonna. I'm gonna let it go because I love that. That's your thing.
Zenny just goes egg dirt.
Egg dirt. Absolutely, guys. If there's one thing we want you to take away from tonight's episode, it's egg dirt.
Well, that first part's from a Scrubs episode where JD and the janitor are saying the same thing at the same time.
Okay.
And it's something like, it's pretty simple, and then they both say peanut butter egg dirt at the same time. So that's something Jill and I have said throughout our relationship. When we say something at the same time, we'll look at each other and go, peanut butter egg dirt, and we try to say it at the same time, we like that episode. So that was always an ongoing joke. And then we did it with her, and then we were playing this game, and in order to decide who got this by saying it first, we then elongated it to say, well, you got to say peanut butter egg dirt, and then you got to say hooba steak. And then that came too easy. And like, now you got to add TJ fart face. And then you got to add a woo at the end. It just became this ongoing thing that we now do all the time. And it's very funny. And Natalie will get mad at me, like, if I don't participate. She goes, Dad, that includes you. Which is really funny.
Oh, man. I got to say that you got a fun life over there, Doug.
She's a fun kid, man.
Like that's fun.
She's really fun. I definitely appreciate her stuff. Although, the other day, we were doing family swim at swim lessons, and
as one does,
as we do, and there was a man and his son in the lane next to us doing their practice stuff, and they were Asian. I say that because it's very relevant to the story.
Okay.
And while we were swimming,
it's not just a John Cochran.
No, it's not just a John Cochran. It was like, yeah. So I had this girl on my team, this black girl, and why do you need to tell me she's black? Okay, I mean that's great. Is it relevant to the story? You can just say you have this girl on your team, on your track team.
Right.
Yeah, I knew this black girl. She was really fast, and I was just like, not necessary, Dad, but thank you. Yeah, but she's like, we're swimming, and it's son, father. She goes, Dad, that looks like Shang-Chi's dad. I'm like, oh, hey, why don't you go do another round of your stuff? Go do some scoops and kicks. I was like, hey, let's not too bad, too loud, because yes, it's an Asian man, but not all Asian men are Shang-Chi and Shang-Chi's dad.
What an interesting, again, talk about conceptually how to explain why that's not good or right to a 5-year-old.
Mm-hmm.
Because what she's trying to do is draw a correlation of, an Asian person, but she's making a connection, but it's not.
It's good intention.
It's want to be making it's. How do you even begin? Because as we just said, there are certain things conceptually that are just impossible to explain to a child.
Yeah.
How do you tackle that?
Yeah, I avoided that one. I was just like, hey, let's do another lap. Just.
Man, that's it's interesting. But again, something that that happens. It's not something you can avoid. It's very similar to what they're going to learn in school and what there's these things that you can't avoid it, but how the hell do you begin to address those things? Yeah. What an awkward. Did anyone else hear in the area?
No,
okay.
Thankfully, it was quiet, and I was like, now's not the time in the middle of our limited time in the pool to explain why that's kind of a racist. No, it is a racist comment,
Right. Yeah.
But we had just watched Shang-Chi, so she was like, oh, that's an Asian guy. And it's also like she has, when we lived in the city, I was really happy about her daycare because she was surrounded by a bunch of diverse teachers and kids. Sure, she was learning Chinese. They were teaching everyone their Chinese, which was awesome. And I'm really sad that they stopped doing that. But and moving out to the burbs, I'm like, gosh, she's just around a whole bunch of white kids. But there's actually a lot more diversity than usual. There's a couple Asian kids in her class. I guess that's really kind of where it ends. But different kinds of Asians.
But for the suburbs.
Yeah. It's a big deal. Diverse. Yeah. There's a kid named Viraj in her class. And, she's like, oh, yeah, it's Viraj. There's a girl named Arya. There's actually 3 Asian kids in her class. So it's, she's seeing that stuff and it's not weird, which is good. Right. Unlike where I grew up, it's like, hey, I'm in junior high and a black kid showed up, Whoa.
Missouri was slightly different. Yeah.
Lolly says, we've been isolated from society so long that when my 3-year-old is out, when we went hiking, she points out loudly and says, Dad, look, there goes another human. Oh my God. Without fail, she makes us sound like alien shapeshifters every time. That's so funny.
But again, think about it too, Slotty's kid, 3 years old, 1.5 to 2 years of those 3 have been spent in super isolation.
Yep.
Right in that development time. So
yeah,
it's not surprising that it's like, oh my God, there's more of us out here.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, exactly. It's
what we take for granted is discovery for a younger person.
Yeah. And that's the kind of thing too, is again, I look at that stuff as what's the intent behind it, right. Because sometimes Natalie's tone doesn't always come off the right way, which we're working on it with her. We're like, hey, when you say certain things, you need to, we need to sharpen up that tone so it doesn't sound like you're being a bitch. Okay.
Oh, interesting. Okay.
I cook, I cook a lot. I cook everything. And Natalie will sometimes want something that's a little bit different. So as I'm finishing up, the adults meal, I'm like, oh, fuck Natalie stuff. I'm like, what did she want again? Oh, she wanted an egg, a banana, and something else. And I just do it all. I put it on the table and she'll be like, Dad, where's my apple cider? And I just want to flip the table over and be like, eat it off the floor, you fucking animal. I'll be like, and Jill will put her hand out and be like, hey, Natalie, Dad worked really hard getting your stuff together. Maybe a better way to say that is hey, Dad, thanks for the meal. I thought I was going to have apple cider. Is it okay if I have some? That's a better way to phrase that.
Where's my fucking apple cider,
Yeah.
clown?
Because Jill originally tried to soften it. She's like, maybe you can say, Dad, you must have made an oopsie. You know, where's my
Still
stuff?
not great.
And she did that. I was like, you're condescending to me. Get the fuck out of here. Like, I don't want that from you, child. You made an oopsie. I'm like, yeah,
You made an
I
oopsie.
made all of this stuff. Sorry, I forgot your banana. All right. Like, Jesus, go get it yourself. I'm hungry. I'm tired. I want to eat. Yes. And she does use the hard R on the N word while singing a rap song. Yes, we are teaching her that only at home can you do that. And actually, there was a kid at school that used that dropped shit and got in trouble. She goes, Dad, I'm not gonna use those words because so and so used it today and they got in trouble. I go, remember how Mom and I said don't do that? And what would happen? You saw it firsthand, so that's good learning. So don't do it, or you're gonna see.
Keep that up.
Yeah, don't do that.
Well, I remember. What, 3 years ago, 4 years ago, whatever it was, when she said fuck.
Oh yeah.
When she dropped that piece of paper. But again, I distinctly remember you're like, I can't be too mad because she used it contextually appropriately.
Mhm.
Like, she used it right.
Yeah.
So
she did it again the other night.
is.
She said shit. Like she dropped something in the bathroom. She spilled a bunch of water and dropped something. She go, what'd you say? She's like, bad word. I'm like, yeah, don't do that. Back in my mind, I was like, you did it right, but don't do that. Okay.
How hard is it to, when it comes out of a little person's mouth, how hard is it to not?
It was adorable. It was absolutely
Like,
adorable.
Right.
Yeah. It's just her little voice saying shit. And I was like, oh, don't get there yet. Okay. Like,
when you were younger, did you get vinegar, soap, other, if you said something bad?
I
got soap.
I didn't really swear at home. Like even to this day, I don't swear. Like it just seems like we just established something like that's not. I don't think I've ever heard my parents say fuck, ever.
Oh, really?
Which to them, bravo.
Yeah.
I've heard my mom just call someone a bitch at McDonald's, which was she was having a bad morning, and yeah, it was very funny. I distinctly remember her. She was waiting for the food to come out. They're like, yeah, can you pull forward? And someone honked at her and she got out. She's like, I'm waiting for my food, you bitch. And then got in the car and I was like, oh.
Well, boy, Ma.
And I heard my dad call people dumb shits, which is just funny to me. That just seems to water down, whatever you, what a dumb shit. I'm just like, oh, that's funny. That's like an old man, thing. But yeah, that's the most I've heard them really say. I've never heard them drop anything. And yeah, to the point now where, I'll say shit and stuff like that in front of them, but I don't say F-bombs. Although I might, if the mood strikes and it's right, I'll be like, what the fuck,
I can't remember when it was, but there was definitely a turning point where I was like, oh, I'm an adult now. I can say what I want to say, and they really can't get upset with me anymore.
Mm-hmm.
And from that point forward, and it's not like I go over there, shit, fuck, shit, fuck. I don't, abuse it, but I swear a lot just in my normal vocabulary. It's just how I express myself. It's my love language. And, I made a decision a while ago, years ago, that I'm not going to change that. I'm not going to speak differently in front of my parents. So I'm like, they're adults. I'm an adult. If in normal conversation, I would say fuck in this instance, then I'm going to say it in front of them.
Yeah.
And if they don't like it, sorry.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And sometimes you can just, edit it just a little bit. Instead of saying finger fuck, just say finger blast,
Exactly. Like instead of saying shit cunt, I can say, back to fronter.
Exactly. Peanut butter egg dirt.
Peanut butter egg dirt. Poopa stank.
TJ Fartface. Woo! We did it.
Yeah.
We did it. Zenny asks, have I ever caught Nat eavesdropping at my recording door? Nat's bedroom is on the other side of my wall over here. So a lot of times, I think she says something. She goes, Dad, how come you're always saying, welcome to Bum Gap Lodcast? I was like, what? She goes, you're always yelling something about, I go, oh, I say welcome to Mind Gap Podcast. She goes, yeah, how come you say that every week? I was like, well, name of my podcast. I'm welcoming everybody to the podcast. She goes, oh, okay. So she does hear some stuff, that's for sure. But,
until she falls asleep.
Yeah.
Or do you think, how we've always said, like, when she grows up, she'll have a record of all the things that you've said on the spot? I feel like she's just getting it in real time. She's just got her cup Does she have water by her bedside? Does she drink?
Sometimes
So
she does.
she throws that. You're gonna find a very wet corner of the
There's some
closet,
mold,
and
like,
she's just got that cup up to the wall, and she's
or she
listening.
could just drink it. You know.
No,
It's just right. She's a 5-year-old. She doesn't
Right.
understand logic.
that's ridiculous.
She doesn't have practical Natalie, so
No, not yet. Yeah, practical Natalie is still developing.
yeah, it'll take some time. So you do anything for Thanksgiving?
Yeah, I'm gonna go over to my sister-in-law's place. We're gonna have some family over there. What's up?
Jill just says we are eavesdropping right now.
Wow.
Jill's in the chat. Jill has entered the chat. Thank you,
Jill's
Jill.
under the tent. Jill's got a glass of wine. Things are about to get crazy.
There you go. Yeah, she aggressively ripped out the cork of a bottle tonight, and I was like, "Ooh, hey, girl." She's like, "Yeah." Sometimes she looked at me. She goes, "Sometimes you just got to shove it in there." I'm like, "Now you're talking."
Ooh.
And Natalie comes up. I go,
wow.
"Oh, hey, what's up, Natalie? What are you doing? When you need something?"
Talk to me more about cork shoving.
Baby, sometimes you gotta put the cork in that bottle. You gotta put it in real deep. You gotta make sure that those get what they're called, that the notes, the moisture, they gotta stay in there.
It's gotta be moist. It's gotta be moist and ripe.
Slotty aggressively ripped open a wine box.
That's what I thought, Slotty. I was like, oh, she aggressively pulled the tap out of a box of what is it, Frenois or whatever it is, that shit box of wine.
No, she has her apothic red, her apothic cab, and she's
yes.
like glug 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 glug.
I'm
Just
telling you,
sort of licks it,
apothic-
licks the stuff. Some people will wipe it. She goes, doesn't want to miss a drop.
Just throws the bottle. Yep, gets all the droplets.
Just real quick, just goes, ha!
I'm gonna pour some wine. Do you want some? Sure.
Hey, you drinking wine down there, babe? Yeah. How do you know? Just intuition.
Yep. I felt a disturbance in the force.
The mood strikes, I suppose. Whatever you gotta do.
That's it. Yeah.
There's some gummy worms in the upper cabinet. Enjoy.
Apothic red and gummy worms. I'm going over to my sister-in-law's house. Hopefully no one at that house will have heard this episode. This is just
I was gonna ask, do you have the classic, oh, we're going to Thanksgiving, everyone just be cool, don't talk about, politics or, religion, or please keep it together?
So it depends on what faction of what side of what family, right? So I come from a divorced family, so we have multiple sides of families that we could potentially go to,
right?
And different subsects of each of those branches between Beth's family and my other side of my family. It depends. You got to know going in what your game plan is. And so there are a few individuals on this side of the family that we try as best we can to steer clear of anything politically based, and we'll have a great time.
Nice.
There's been a few times, and I think the thing is, at this point, we all know if we want to have a good evening, we all just, the people who lean right and the people who lean left, we've come to a mutual understanding where it's, look, let's just have a nice time. We're going to talk about maybe some sports. We'll talk about what we've all been getting up to. We'll talk about, any movies or books we've read or seen, and we'll leave it very, very, very surface level. We'll play some board games. Always fun,
Nice. What kind of board games?
So there's this one, oh God, you put me on the spot. I can't remember what it's called now. It's a game where there's like 10 pages of like a whiteboard book with a dry erase marker, and you get a word, and you've got to, the first person draws that word. They pass the book over, and the next person writes the word, what they think the drawing is. And then the next person just looks at the written word and tries to draw. And so it's like a telephone game, but with drawing and writing.
Interesting.
And then once everyone's done, it gets back to you. And then each person goes through the progression or the digression of what the thing was. So that game is very, very popular.
So I'm going to guess 80% of the time, the last drawing is a dick.
No, but we have gotten some questionable drawings where it could easily have gone that way. Yes,
It's like,
it's easy to go there,
like
for sure.
Jackbox games where,
Yeah.
like what was it? I think it was Hard Drive News or The Onion, one of the two. Like there was an article that says Jackbox Games bans the word "cum" from their games because that's just what people always answer.
Oh god, yeah, that's exactly it too. Yeah,
Yeah.
no, it's a fun game. I think here's the thing, if we were to play with our group, it would inevitably get to that point,
Of
yes,
course.
but,
Yeah, it would be, especially you throw Jared in there and,
100%.
who knows what you. That's pretty
Yeah.
cool.
Yeah, so
Here's
do
what
you
I
guys-
suggest. Here's my suggestion to you.
Oh,
All
yeah,
right, you
please.
guys, you come in, you take off your coats, you say hi to everyone, and you say, "Hey, everyone, Kyle Rittenhouse is a free man." And you just see where the conversation goes.
You just drop that, and then I'm gonna go get some Apothic Red.
Yeah, and just go. Yeah, and then just see if you can get a high five, or something.
Oh, I already know who exactly would high five me,
Right, exactly.
Yeah.
It'd be really fun.
which not gonna happen, Doug. Not gonna happen.
Challenge
Hardcore pass.
accepted.
Challenge denied. Hardcore pass. That sounds like the worst possible.
Just in
start
time for Thanksgiving, baby. Just in time for
Yeah.
Thanksgiving,
Dude, oh my god. Yeah.
it'll be a real treat.
We could go down that rabbit hole, but we won't tonight. What are you doing for Thanksgiving?
I'm actually having most of Jill's family is coming to visit us.
Okay.
Natalie's all excited for the feast, as she calls it. Dad, are we having a feast? Yes, we are having a feast. So I've got some good
Is Doug
stuff.
gonna work his ass off in the kitchen?
I am. So I'm gonna smoke a brisket. I'm gonna do a pork loin. I'm gonna
Okay.
do Dad Mac, my mac and cheese.
Yes, sir.
I'm gonna do some focaccia bread.
Nice.
I'm gonna make some Twix bars, and I'm gonna smoke an apple pie.
You wait, Twix bar. Go back to these Twix bars. You're talking about you're gonna make your own homemade Twix bars?
Yeah.
You have my attention.
And then I'm going to do focaccia. I'm going to do smoke an apple pie. And then I'm going to do a chocolate smoker.
Ooh, shit.
I tested
Make
it
it
out
fun. Right.
on Saturday, and it turned out amazing.
Good shit.
I'm going to create apple pie. Yeah, baby.
Yeah.
I've got some great. I need to share all these recipes that I'm doing on our recipes part in our Discord, which, by the way, if you haven't, you should check out our Discord. Want to know how to do that? Head over to twitch.tv/mindgappodcast. In the About section, you'll see a little thing that says Discord. Click on it. It'll take you right on over. Or if you're watching this on YouTube, down in the description, you'll find a link. Discord. Come hang out there. Good time. You enjoy it.
Yeah,
Promise.
you
We have a
will.
recipe section.
I'm impressed at how much you're going. So is anyone else allowed to bring anything, or are you kind of okay?
Yeah,
didn't
I
know if
think one of her
you were-
sisters is going to make mashed potatoes. Her mom is going to bring like one or two pies just to add to the collection. I think someone else
Sure.
is bringing like a corn dish or something like that. So,
But no turkey, you guys.
what's up?
No turkey though.
Turkey doesn't do it for me, man. Like
Really?
I've only had a handful of turkeys in my life that have been really like memorable and delicious. And one of them actually was Bill's sister brined a turkey for 3 days and that was like,
That sounds delectable.
I'm like, cool, it's juicy.
Yeah.
It was so full of flavor. I'm like, that's what I'm talking about. But most of the time, turkey is boring as hell to me. Like
Fair. That's
it is
fair.
such a boring meat, and probably because I've just had mediocre at best
Yeah.
turkey. So I'm like, I prefer to do something non-traditional. I'm like, what can I put on the smoker? I've had this brisket for almost a year in the freezer. I'm like, I want to use this thing, but I don't want to use it just for us because,
Yeah.
Jill and Natalie and I mean, Jill doesn't even really love brisket. So I'm like, I've been waiting to find a good time to do it. I'm like, Thanksgiving. There we go.
Yeah.
Jill's like, well, maybe not everyone may like brisket. I'm like, we'll do a pork loin too. How about that? We'll get both of those in there. I'm doing too much as I always do.
So you guys are going to have probably around 10 people over, right?
Of 5, those 5. Yeah, including us, about 14 people.
Yeah. I wasn't including you.
Yeah.
I never do.
I
But
know.
Yeah. 14 people. So yeah, I mean, you'll have enough people to enjoy the brisket at that point. You have to have.
It's only about a 6.5 pound brisket, but it's too much. It always is. But
Yeah.
I've also bought a whole bunch of to-go boxes from Costco. So I'm like, here you go, guys, take it with you.
Bingo bongo. See, that's the key right there.
Because then
Send
we're
it-
also, for our own personal Thanksgiving, doing pulled pork, and I'm making some fresh dinner rolls
Wait, when does that happen?
Thursday. The family one's happening on Saturday.
Oh, I was like,
Yeah, I didn't clarify that.
I was like, I'm not understanding this at all.
Yeah, her family's coming on Saturday. That's the big one, and
Got
then
it.
we'll do our own personal one Thursday. So I'm keeping it relatively simple with. Well, I also making a French toast croissant casserole for Natalie because Natalie loves it, and
Ooh.
she's been asking for it for months, and I'm like, I don't eat that anymore. So no, I'm not making it.
Great.
And Jill's like, do it for Thanksgiving. I'm like, fine, I'll do it for Thanksgiving. Do it for
And
that.
Dougie gonna have a little taste.
I'll have a little bit. I've been good. I've been enjoying. I mean, I had some of that chocolate lava cake. And I've been enjoying it in moderation every night. I get a couple spoonfuls with a small spoonful of vanilla ice cream, and
Boom
that's it.
chocolate. You're done.
Like, you're good.
You're good.
Good. Yeah. Good.
Some of the best turkey, I still say, is the deep fried turkey. We've done that at our
Yeah.
Thanksgivings before a few times, and it always worries the shit out of me
course.
because the dogs are always running around the backyard where it's happening, and I'm like, this is not going to end well. But when it's done and that oil is not hissing anymore and bubbling and popping, and that turkey's cutting on the table, holy fuck, is it good?
Yeah.
Mm.
Yeah.
Mhm.
I've definitely had some good stuff.
Yeah.
That I think Jill's dad used to do that. But the thing is with frying, it's good, but I hate frying food because the cleanup is a pain in the ass.
Right. Well, I never did it.
Yeah. So it's fine.
It was always amazing for me.
Yeah. There's so many things, like so many recipes. It's like, oh, I'd love to do that, but I don't want to fry it because I don't know what to do with the oil when it's done. Like,
Dude,
it's
I'm telling
obnoxious.
you, that's why when Beth and I get our place and we've got a little bit more counter space, air fryer. I am buying
Yeah.
an air fryer.
They're
hard
good, man.
Yeah.
Yeah, I have one.
I'm
don't
not going to air fry a turkey in there,
No.
obviously. But
actually.
yeah.
I made donuts in an air fryer.
Have
you know,
you?
They weren't amazing, but considering what it was, pretty
Yeah.
decent. Not bad. For getting them to come through. But I love it for warming up stuff. Like warming up fried food in there, it's great. It's so good. Warming up
There you
pizza
go,
in
right.
there is awesome. Like making some frozen, popcorn shrimp or something in there. Fantastic. It does a really good job. It's
Yeah.
really nice.
See, that's the thing. I would love to get. I love me a chicken wing, and
Mhm.
like to do
Yes.
sort of, not even sauce based, like just even doing the
Yeah.
rubs and everything. Like there's so many different flavors and stuff that I've wanted to try, but I hate heating up the oil. And I could bake them. I know I could, but it just never turns out the same. So I feel like that's going to be the answer to my problem.
Oh, it's smart, man. It's a good way to go. Pizza rolls in the air fryer. Boom, right?
Oh, see, Crit gets it.
Yeah, Crick gets it.
Yeah.
By the way, hello, Wolf's Lore. Thanks for tuning in, man. I'm deathly allergic, therefore popcorn shrimp cannot be fantastic. Here's the thing. Fantastic is, it's a frozen
Well,
thing,
here's the thing. What a last meal.
right?
I'm just saying, right? Come on. It's
I've never thought about it. What do you want your last meal to be? It's secretly something I'm very allergic to, so I'll die on my own terms. Thank you very much. That or something that'll give me explosive diarrhea, I want
exactly.
a big old thing of milk because I'm lactose intolerant.
I'm lactose intolerant. I want all of you to have to deal with this.
I'm going out in style, motherfucker. I'm going to be gassy.
What a last great FU.
Yeah, right?
As you just down a gallon of milk, and then the next day when they put you under, you just void those bowels, but it's extra voidy.
Oh, man. Yeah.
Done.
Bring me all the Taco Bell. Yeah, I'm looking forward to it. I love cooking, and I've been looking for an excuse to cook this brisket and to make this apple pie again. I haven't made this apple pie in a year. Made it
I remember
last
the first time
Thanksgiving.
you made it, you were swooning over it.
Yeah, and I hope more people. I basically ate that thing by myself. Not in one sitting,
Right.
but still not good that I ate that whole thing by myself.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm looking forward to it.
I like thing is I like Thanksgiving.
Me too.
I always tend to overeat. And it's I used to go, oh man, why did I do that? And now I'm aware of it and I'm still gonna do it, but I've made peace with it. I'm comfortable with it. And it's just it's a nice, I don't know, to me it's a very neutral holiday. Again, history aside, it's a very there's no expectations
Yes.
of gift. You're not having to dress up. You're not having to it's kind of just this real nice get together and have a good family dinner holiday. And
Yes.
people tend to bring their A game when they're cooking. A lot of people are like, I'm going to try this new recipe. So you get a little experimentation. I find it to be one of the more enjoyable holidays.
I agree. I agree. I love because that's the thing with Christmas is it's just the gifts. I'm like, can we just not do the gifts? Like, I would prefer not to do.
Yeah.
Just it's too much for the kids. Fine, adults, let's just fuck off. Everyone. There's a $20. Just don't do it. Just not do it. Like, I don't need anything. Like, I don't. It's fine. Good for the kids and call it
So
even.
with your guys' family, do you do everyone gets gifts from everyone else, or do you do because we do what we call the cousins gift exchange, like a white not a white elephant. Whatever it is. We draw names and everyone gets one person, one thing, and that's
Secret
that.
Santa.
Sure, a Secret Santa, yes. So that has proven to be a nice middle ground for us, and it's helped temper expectations, which is fantastic.
Yeah.
And we set the limit, and there's this website called Elfster where you can actually put stuff in a wish list.
Oh, cool.
So you're not going to get stuff that you don't, you're going to get stuff that you potentially want.
Sure.
So that has been nice. But like in your guys' family, is it one of those things where you're required to get these three and these three, and they're required to get, so you're all exchanging gifts to everyone?
We used to do where we would just draw and like I would just get one person, someone else would get
Yeah.
one person, you just get them a gift, like basically all. But finally we got away with it and we're just for the kids. Like,
Okay. Yeah.
I don't know, man. I don't like I don't like the idea of forcing a gift. It's like a Valentine's Day thing for me, right?
Okay.
Like if you're forcing a day where I have to say I love you and we have to pretend or not pretend, it's up to you. Whether or not we're in love and we care about each other. Like with Christmas, it's like I don't want to feel obligated to get you something. You, Justin, are a very good friend of mine. I'd say easily one of my best friends. I would probably still have a hard time trying to find you something because I want it to be meaningful. I want it to be something worthwhile. It would probably be easier than some other folks, but even for you, I'd be like, man, what would I get Justin? That is, it's so stressful for me. I don't like doing it. If you can find the right thing, it's great. Like for Jill's birthday last year, she's really into books. I got her a bunch of like book knickknack things. Like I got her a little coffee mug warmer so that she can just put her coffee on it and just sit there and it will warm it automatically, keep it warm while she reads her book. I got her a little table that she can sit over her lap while she sits at the couch and she can read her book and have her coffee and just little things like that. I got her and I was like, that's great, that's perfect. And I'm super easy. Like I don't ever want anything big.
Right.
Give me some Chinese food, a little cake, and a couple of nerdy stuff, and I'm good.
Yeah.
I'm pretty easy.
Little Pop Funko figure, and we're good to go.
Good. I'm thrilled about just about anything. But I just Crit says Justin needs the D&D book set for Christmas. For Christmas.
For Christmas. I love that.
Yeah. By the way, Wolf says I'm thankful for you guys in the Mind Gap community. I'm thankful to you as well, Wolf. And honestly, I'm going to take a moment here to be a little mushy and say I am extremely thankful to our entire Mind Gap community. Like we have grown little by little in the years or year and a half or however long we've really been online on Twitch and stuff like that. We've slowly accumulated people here and there, and it's been so awesome. Like just absolutely wonderful to have people and to the listeners too. Like, thank you for listening to the show. Thank you to everyone that's been tuning in to the show on YouTube and on Twitch and watching our shit and just participating. It means so much to us. Really appreciate it. And Justin, of course, I appreciate you, man. I'm thankful for you that we're still doing this. 6 years, still going,
I know.
Over 300 episodes, still going.
You wouldn't have thought, when we started, like who knew where this was going to go or anything. So I'm very thankful for you and for, your continued interest and partnership in doing this. And to the listeners too, it's weird to think that our community is small, but mighty. And it's weird to think that we have a community at all. And
right.
What's wild about it is the majority of the people in our community we have not met in person, but would consider, if not more than acquaintances, just like good friends, like
Absolutely.
people who we know, we get inside jokes with each other, and we can, have we all, bust each other's chops, and we know it's in jest and in love. And it's just really cool to have that community again of people who otherwise would be strangers.
Yeah.
It's the weirdest feeling to kind of have curated that. And it's very cool. So thank you to everyone who has joined the Mind Gap, the MG, no, what did I say?
NGP?
MGP, the Mind Cat, no, MGPU. The MGU, Mind Gap Universe. That's it. The MGU.
MGU. There you go.
I used to hashtag MGU and I forgot what it was. Yes, but
Magoo!
Everyone except Slotty. He always brings us down. Air fryers are great, but they have their limits. Look, you don't have to do that, man.
Don't be practical Slotty right now. All right, we don't need that. We already got practical Doug. We don't need you bringing everyone else down. My goal someday is to have a real life event that's open to our Mind Gap community where we all get together. We cook some great food. We bring the greatest culinary minds. We bring the Slotties, the Noahs, and myself to the table, and we all come up and cook something good, and we all hang out and just enjoy just fucking around. It'd be so much fun. Someday, make it happen.
You will.
Someday. Well, let's talk about Ridley Scott.
Speaking of Thanksgiving, Ridley Scott.
Speaking of British people. Shit.
Uh-oh.
Vamp, Justin.
Okay.
Vamp.
So, have you heard of Ridley Scott?
I have.
He's an 82-year-old director, filmmaker. He's done such great things as Alien and I think Aliens.
Yeah.
No?
James Cameron did that.
That's right. He did.
He did Prometheus.
Ruins we don't talk about that, but he also did a little thing called The Last Duel. Which is what we're talking about here. He also hates millennials. Well, not millennials. He calls them, what does he call them again?
Millennials?
Millennians.
Yeah.
Like the Millennium Falcons.
Yeah, so there was this article, and this has been going around in a lot of different places, but I found this on Twitter. Ridley Scott pins the Last Duel bombing on apathetic millennials. And it's a short article, and basically, to quote him, I think what it boils down to, because he was on Mark Maron's podcast, What the Fuck podcast, and I listened to the podcast after reading this in the article because I was like, this seems kind of like a weird quote. I want to know the full context in which it was said.
Talking about this, we're just like, this could go one of two. Either he's being a real dick and not making a lot of sense, or this was taken out of context and it was a much larger conversation.
Because this is a great headline, right?
Oh, very much.
Ridley Scott thinks millennials are the reason why his movie bombed. Like, what a great headline to pull people in and just generate outrage. He says, I think what it boils down to, what we've got today are the audiences who are brought up on these fucking cell phones. The millennial, his words, do not ever want to be taught anything unless you're told it on a... Like, this is a broad stroke, but I think we're dealing with it right now with Facebook. This is a misdirection that has happened where it's given the wrong kind of confidence to this latest generation. I don't know what that last sentence means.
I don't know what the first part of the sentence means.
Yeah.
I don't, even listening to the podcast, I thought I was going to get more understanding, gain a deeper insight into what he was saying. I am still left making my own assumptions as to what he meant by this. There was no more clarity, at least that I got out of the podcast itself. Did you?
Yeah. No, it was honestly, to me, when I originally read this, I was like, man, what a grumpy 83-year-old man who's just like, these fucking millennials don't like my stuff. Because he's British, that's what he sounds like. Right. And I was annoyed. I was like, Jesus, man, like, really, that's what you're going to blame it on? When I went and listened to the podcast, it was such a throwaway quote. Like, it seemed it was just something that was like, as soon as like Mark Maron was heading in that direction, I'm like, oh, here's the quote. And he says it, and they immediately just move on. Like, it was like a nothing thing. I was like, oh.
Transitioned into another thought immediately.
Yeah. I was like, oh, well, that's kind of, I guess that was it. I was waiting for some greater, things of diving into it. And I'd say for probably a little more context on it, I think Mark Maron summed it up really well in his intro. to I don't know if did you hear that at all?
I didn't listen to the intro. No.
He said Ridley Scott is a guy that loves his movies almost as if he were a fan loving someone else's movie. Like he loves everything that he does. He loves his stuff. He is a fan of his work, which in some ways, like a little bit, you could be like, that's kind of gross. But at the same time, he's quoted in here as saying, that's the call you make. I've never had one regret on any movie I've ever made. Nothing. I learned very early on that to be your own critic. The only thing you should really have an opinion on is what you just did. Walk away, make sure you're happy, and don't look back. That's me.
Right.
And because he talked about how when he released, I think it was Blade Runner, there was someone in the New Yorker that just wrote this really long critique of his film. It was just, he thought it was really mean, that they didn't understand it. And he goes, and ultimately she didn't, because it was a film that was beyond her time and didn't quite understand it. He goes, ever since then, he goes, I frame that, I hang it up, and I look at it just to remind myself that I shouldn't look at this stuff, because I need to be happy with what I make, and then I just need to move on. That's all that matters. So I was like, that's actually a really cool perspective from a creator standpoint.
It's kind of a healthy perspective to have from a creator standpoint, because you can get marred up in the all the negative shit, and then Lord knows there's enough negative shit out there with the internet and everything that you can really get bogged down with that.
Mm-hmm.
And so from a creator standpoint, real good to just go, do I like it? I'm making it for me. And that's a lot of you hear creators say all the time, make it for yourself. Do it for you. We had
cue the fart board, Justin, because we make this podcast for us. Yeah.
Do it for yourself.
Do it for you. Do it for you. Okay?
That's right. We're gonna let that sink in.
Yeah, we're gonna let that fester.
Let that marinate.
Yeah, marinade. And let that turkey marinate in deep fry.
Yeah.
Grit says, I know I've been bummed before about our stuff. Yeah, like if you make something and you put it out and you're like, yeah, that wasn't good.
Right.
Like,
and everything you make is probably not going to look. You make enough stuff. Like Ridley Scott makes a movie every few years or every decade or whatever it is.
I mean, he makes a lot of movies actually. He had two movies come out. He's doing the House of Gucci.
The Gucci one too. Yeah.
Yeah, and he's doing this one. He did The Martian. Like he's done a lot of movies.
But still, like between The Martian and he's not. I'll say this: he's not putting something out as frequently as we're putting something out, or that Crit putting. We're not putting something out as frequently as Crit is putting something out. So when you're turning things out in that insane amount of volume, you're gonna have maybe a stinker here or there that you're like, that wasn't my best one. But still, as long as you're happy with what you're doing, that's the point.
Mm-hmm.
As long as you're doing it for you and you're making your art. That's it. And I feel like Ridley has come to terms with that. I would hope in 83 years, on the planet, he's figured that out. That's a long time to, have to think on that. But I still don't fully understand what he means by blaming the millennials. Is it again? I feel like what I'm interpreting is he's saying that this movie is too smart for them, or they're too confident, so they're overly confident to be critical of his film. I don't quite understand what he's saying.
Yeah, again, because it was a throwaway quote, didn't really get more. I was hoping to get more out of that. I think he was kind of grumpy because he was very because originally this is a movie he produced with Fox. And then Fox got bought by Disney, and he was concerned that this is apparently a pretty adult film.
Right.
He's like, Disney's going to hate this. And in fact, Disney was like, we love this. And they put a lot of like advertising and promotion behind it. He's like, I love what they did for it. But people just didn't come out for it. And I think it's just, and he even says, he's speaking in broad strokes, I think that's just a cop-out excuse. Like to be like, these millennials. I was like, did you make this movie for the millennials? Like, who's your target audience? Like,
right.
I think the movie looks fascinating, and I want to see it. I just don't want to go to the theater right now. Like, I don't want. Sure. I'm not going to go. My first movie theater experience back is not going to be The Last Duel. Like, I'm not going to do that. When it's available on streaming, if it was on HBO the same day as theaters, I would have fucking watched it because I want to see it. It sounds interesting.
I can't wait for it to hit Disney Plus.
Right. Perfect for that. Right next to Shang-Chi and
Right.
PJ Masks. And
Bluey.
But I really like, I feel like it's just like, listen, man, he's had enough movies that didn't do well at the box office to know that it's not a particular generation. You know what I mean? Like, I think that's really a lazy thing to be like, oh, these kids, all they want to do is watch shit on their phones. And I'm like, where's your proof? Right. You're not wrong, but it's also like they're not necessarily mutually exclusive. Like, they can watch shit on their phone and go to the movies. Like,
absolutely, yeah. Also, to what Crit just said too, like, you know, Hollywood right now is finding they're blaming anything and everything except the pandemic. It's like, dude, we're still coming out of a once in a generation fucking global shutdown.
Yeah,
you can't expect to make the same kind of
numbers
that you used to make. It's
people aren't going to come out in droves for this fucking movie that's based on historical stuff. That's an R-rated film.
Right.
Like, I'm not a fucking box office genius, but I can tell you that combination of things is not going to put asses in seats in the pandemic.
Right. Now, is it, depending on if he was basing it off of box office numbers or if it was just critical reviews in general or internet buzz?
All I know is that it said it made $27 million at the box office so far and a $100 million budget. So they're like,
rough.
You know, it's rough. But I look at it as, listen, man, this ain't Fast and Furious.
This ain't Jungle Cruise.
This ain't Spider-Man.
Right.
You know, like people, this is an R-rated film, so already you're cutting your audience into a certain segment, and then pandemic, and it's just a lot of shit. It didn't pan out, man.
Right.
Doesn't mean it's a bad movie. It's just box office wise, it's not good. So don't blame the millennials on it. Like, was this movie made for them? Because if so, I think I don't think you built it for the right audience. So I just think it's really shitty.
Right.
Like, these kids and their phones, they don't want to learn. I'm like, I'm pretty sure this is fiction. Like, I think this is based on some historical stuff, but you also dramatized it. Like, I'll
also say this is that blaming the millennials is becoming a pretty old trick because the millennials are now in their late 20s to mid 30s to late 30s. Like, the millennials aren't the kids that you're used to blaming anymore. So it really doesn't hold the same weight. Like, that is kind of an out of touch criticism. You know, in all rights.
Because I identify as a millennial. I'm on, I think, the very cusp of it. I think I'm in between Gen X and millennial. Like my brother, who's 2 years older than me, he identifies, I think, more with Gen X. But
1980 is the technical cutoff.
Yeah, my brother was born in 81. I was born in 83.
Right.
And I identify more with millennial than I do with Gen X. So
right. Well, and I feel like I feel like we are the way I always say is we're millennials with Gen X tendencies. I feel like we technically we're millennials and we adhere to a lot of that, but there's definitely some of that cynicism of the Gen X era that we embody as well. So,
sure, absolutely. But like I put, you know, when they say millennials, I'm like, oh, I think he's kind of talking about me too, you know. But I don't have probably some of the more, you know, obvious tendencies that some of the younger folks do that are probably, you know, in their late 20s, early 30s right now. And I don't know. I just think it's really dumb to do that. To be like, these kids didn't show up to watch my movie. Okay.
Right.
I mean, you've made a lot of movies that people didn't show up for.
Right.
And this doesn't mean that you're bad. He went through the list in the podcast. He's like, you know, I made what do you say? I can't remember how it all started, but he's like, he made a movie and it didn't do well. And then he made Alien and it did really well. And then he made Blade Runner. That didn't do well in the theater. Right. Or did it? I don't remember.
Oh, Blade Runner was not immediately.
I can't remember if like he was like said that was successful or not, but like he had a couple that were really good, and then he did Legend with the 20-year-old Tom Cruise, and then he's like that didn't do well, and then someone was like, "Hey man, keep doing this fantasy shit. Maybe you should do real life stuff." And he's like, "What a concept!" Right. And so he did a movie called White Squall, which personally really enjoy that movie, and then he did another one, and then like that didn't do well. But then he's done a whole string of things. Like he did G.I. Jane, he did Thelma and Louise, he did Gladiator, he did a bunch of shit with Russell Crowe. Like he's done
Black Hawk Down, Matchstick Men.
Yeah, like he's done a ton of shit. Like, come on, man.
American Gangster, Robin Hood, Prometheus.
Yeah.
Actually, he's got The Martian, Alien Covenant. Yeah.
Kingdom of Heaven, I think, was another one that he did.
Kingdom of Heaven, yep.
Like there, I love.
Body
I
of Lies.
honestly, when you say that, when Ridley Scott's name is attached to something, I take notice. He's one of the directors that I really enjoy. Alien is one of my favorite movies. Like I love that movie. I love what he did with that. I love Gladiator. Such a great film. Like he's made some really great stuff, and so like I really appreciate that. I just think it's kind of weird that he would just sort of like toss that out there. Be like, I'm like, you've had enough experience with box office failures. Did you blame someone else at that time? Like, who did you blame when those other movies didn't do well? Like,
right.
Like, seems like such an 83-year-old man to say.
I blame the Hollywood types. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah. No, I think, well, the thing was too, most of the interview, he sounded drunk to me. So I
didn't hear that.
No?
No.
Maybe it was just British. I don't know.
Yeah, I thought, he was, I thought it was a really cool interview. And one thing I also really enjoyed about it too was how he talked about how he's really good at drawing, and he storyboards everything. Like,
that's incredible. By the
all
way.
the time.
Anyone who can do that is I love that.
Yeah, he says he typically comes in under budget because by the time they're ready to shoot, he has everything storyboarded out. He knows all the different shots. He has everything drawn. He knows how he wants things to go, so they move quicker. So he goes, typically they finish sooner, so they come in under budget and ready to go. And he can communicate that well with everyone. Apparently, he's doing a film coming up about Napoleon Bonaparte, and Joaquin Phoenix is set to play Bonaparte.
Wow.
Should be very interesting. I'm very curious about that, which will be really, really cool.
That's very cool.
And
same as you. I'm curious to see the movie. I was not when I saw the trailer for it. I wasn't frothing at the mouth.
Mm-hmm.
It wasn't one of those where I was like, "Oh boy," mostly just because of the facial hair. I talked to you about this. Matt Damon and that fucking chin strap. I don't get it. If you got a chin strap, I say shave it. Or grow the mustache.
Sure,
one of the two. But I thought it. I like that era. Like when someone does a film in that era, I've always liked that medieval, sword fighting era. So I'm curious to see what Ridley's take on that is.
I thought it was funny because someone took a screenshot from it and they showed like Ben Affleck and Matt Damon with those, those chin beards, and they said, "This looks like a movie about guys in the late '90s who are on their way to see a Godsmack concert." Which I thought was amazing. I was like, yes.
Oh, good. Yeah.
Because for the record, I used to have that when I was in high school. I had one of those.
You had did you just have the goatee or did you have the chin strap? Chin strap.
I didn't have the chin strap. I just had the chin. That's all I had.
That's fine. Yeah. Again,
that's fine.
That's no. Here's the thing. If you play in a jazz quartet, then yes, you can have that. You've got.
If you're Amish, that's okay. I think
Sure, I guess.
Sure, I guess. Fucking Amish.
Not? Yeah. But yeah, the chin strap. I don't know. I don't take on that.
I do still have a chin. Thank you, Wolf. But I used to just have the hair right here.
He used to just have a chin, though.
Yeah.
That's the thing.
I've evolved like a Pokemon. Is that how that works?
Yep.
After you consume the soul of your enemy, you evolve. I choose Practical Doug. Throw me out at like a car retailer when you're trying to buy a car. Oh no, he's summoning a Pokemon.
He's popped.
This is this is a depreciating asset. Don't do it. Okay, thanks. Bye. No, not Practical Doug again. Ruining my sales figures.
The bane of everyone's existence at the car lot. Yeah.
Hilarious. I'm interesting about this movie because as Ridley Scott talked about it, like, and in this era, for a woman to accuse a man of rape, stakes are high. Because if she is found...
You're saying today's era?
No, back then.
Oh, back then. Okay.
Yeah. The stakes are incredibly high because she accuses another lord of rape. And if she's wrong, they will probably burn her at the stake. Like, her life is forfeit if they're like, yeah, he's not guilty. Like that... Right. The idea of exploring this, and also, I don't know, I kind of feel like Ridley Scott was spoiling some of the stuff in it too, as he was talking about the movie. But Matt Damon doesn't play a real nice guy like as her husband. Like, he, apparently, after she's like, hey, this guy raped me, his response is like, well, I don't want to be the last, so get on the bed. I'm gonna take a turn. Like he was like, he's like, oh, you're gonna die, but he's not gonna be the last one inside of you. Like I'm gonna get in there. Like that was his response.
Well, I don't think I listened to that part of that. Is news to me. Holy shit. Okay.
Yeah. I'm like, okay.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
Different time, but
Yeah.
So
I don't know what to do with that.
Yeah, no one ever does. But yeah, so I'm curious to check it out. I don't think millennials is the reason why. It's just, I don't know, timing, pandemic, a topic.
Pandemic. I was going to say that, in hearing that too, it could just be a little tone deaf topic wise. Like it might not be something that, honestly, I didn't know that side of I didn't know that's what I thought it was more of an honor bound. Two people are leading up to this epic duel that they have to do for some honor bound thing.
Yeah.
I didn't know that was the key element of the story. So interesting. Okay.
Yeah. The whole reason why they're dueling is for the honor of, this guy's wife who's alleging that this other guy raped her. So
that I did not know.
Yeah.
Okay.
So that's how it escalated, where he's like, I challenge you to a duel for, the honor or whatever and that sort of stuff. So that's how they're going to settle the dispute. So
as one does.
Yeah. So yeah, I mean, I don't know. I like Ridley Scott. I like the actors. Adam Driver's in it. Matt Damon's in it. Ben Affleck's in it.
Love me some Adam Driver.
Right. It looks interesting. I want to check it out.
You know what I want to check out, Doug?
What do you want to check out?
I want to check out your opinion on something.
Oh boy. Let's do it.
You got the questions, we got the answers. All you do is ask. Practical, 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 practical. Ask Practical Doug.
Real quick, before we get started, if you want to ask Practical Doug a question, all you have to do is shout out to us on our social medias at MyGap Podcast, or join our Discord. Head over to the Ask Practical Doug channel and just type in your question. We'll log it in, and you can get a chance to ask Practical Doug. Justin, what do we got?
So, wait, did we? Oh, wait, we got a new one in here.
Got a new one in here, and this one was the talk of the Discord this morning. Let me tell you.
I was gonna say
we don't have to do that one today. We can kind of get around to that.
One of these. Never mind. Okay. But I'm like, we did not do one of these last week. Holy shit.
Yeah.
Let's save that one.
Yeah. That was compliments of Reddit.
You know what? In reading it, that makes sense. That tracks very, very, very much. Okay. I think we're going to do the one from Slotty.
All right.
Slotty posed a real good one, and I like this. So Slotty asks, Doug, would you rather fight a chicken every time you get in your car, or fight one orangutan armed with a sword randomly once a year?
This is a great question, because
this is a wonderful question.
This deals with battling animals. You're battling nature, and it comes down to, are you battling nature expectedly or unexpectedly? If I have to get in my car, which I use every day, so this says every time you get in your car. Tin's like, forgot about this one. Love this question. So every time you get in your car, I get in my car multiple times a day. I get in my car to go to the gym. I get in my car to go get Natalie. Chickens, they can be rough. A joke. Like they can...
Chickens are no joke.
They are no joke. But if I know that going in, I can prepare for it mentally. I'm like, there's a chicken in my car. I'm going to come in. This doesn't... Hold on, guys. Sorry, there's a chicken in my car. This means I could come in with a bat. This means I could come in, with a rope. This means I could come in with, brass knuckles. Like, I can prepare for the fight. And I'd like to add that I think it was Noah that said this is essentially just free chicken. You kill it, and now you've got fresh chicken ready to be used, which Practical Doug absolutely agrees with. Like, it's
sure.
You pluck it. You got. I mean, this is a business. You could sell that shit. You could cook it. Whatever. It sells itself.
You can air fry it.
You can air fry it. The options are there, right? It sucks. I'd hate to have to do it every single time. It'd be annoying, but I know it. I can expect it every single time. What'll suck is if I wake up and forget about it. I'm like, oh shit, that's right. There's a chicken in here. I got to fucking deal with this.
So let me ask you this. I want to qualify this real quick. Is the chicken aggressive?
Saying that
Inherently aggressive. It's not just a chicken that's in your car that you've got to kill. Like this chicken is like it's a 28 days later chicken.
yeah,
right?
that's kind of how I saw it.
It's coming after you.
Yeah, of course. And
It's gonna
again,
be hiding. Sometimes it's under a seat. You
Yeah.
don't know where it's coming from,
sure, but you know
Okay.
it's in there.
but you know it's in there.
You
yes.
know it's there.
Here's the thing. Is it when you get in the car or is it at some point during the drive, it's going to smoke bomb attack you?
The way I see this is like as soon as you open the door, this chicken arrives from its chicken plane,
Go!
and it's there. It's like, let's do this. It doesn't always go in the same spot,
Okay.
but it materializes in your car. You have
I
to
just
come in.
like
You got to
the
be
idea.
ready. You know,
If like you're sitting at a red light and you just hear,
it's like fuck.
look around. Uh-oh.
Because like the one time you get in, you're waiting for 5 minutes. It doesn't show up. It's like, oh, maybe it won't show up today. You're like, I guess
Right.
I'll go. And then yeah, dun dun.
And you just
I did.
hear in the back seat. What?
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's pecking. People are looking. You're like, motherfucker. Yeah. Ah! You rip its head off, and you're like, blood sprays all over.
There's the other thing. You've got to clean up blood every
Well, it
time.
depends on how you do it. Depends on how
Okay.
you do it. You know,
Snap its neck rather
snap
than
its neck, a quick bludgeoning. You know, then take it out, and then finish the job out in your driveway every day.
Funny, is that the Cochran guy choking his chicken again in his car?
Yeah.
Okay.
Exactly. So that would be really annoying. It would get old, but it's something you can prepare for. What I wouldn't like to deal with is any type of ape. Apes are strong. Apes are terrifying. Orangutans are especially intelligent. Smart guys. And if you give it a sword,
Right.
fuck off. I mean,
And you don't know where this is going to be. You could be sitting on the toilet. You could be sleeping.
once a year,
Right.
this motherfucker shows up. And you don't know when, you don't know where, but
Right.
he shows up. It is terrifying. You have no idea when it's going to happen. And that is
Right.
not an easy one. Because if you're caught unaware and you have nothing to defend yourself, and this
Yeah.
motherfucker has a sword, even
And
without the sword,
Cleaning off shit. Yeah.
even if he doesn't have a sword, it's like this thing just sort of like comes in, just you're like, oh God, it's her birthday. What do you do? Like, you know, he just comes crashing into your
I was
house.
just choking my chicken.
Right, exactly. Or you said like you're sleeping, you just see up from your bed. You know, it's just it'd be awful. It'd be terrible. And
So without question, you'd rather fight the chicken.
well, so it goes, but what if you get the sword to fight the orangutan? Still sucks. That's close combat. I don't want to get in close combat with a fucking orangutan. I think it would whip my ass.
keep asking, what if the sword becomes sentient and you convince it to fight the orangutan for you?
Now we're talking.
Am I misunderstanding?
Listen, Ben, I need you to go take care of this for me. Okay.
All
You know,
right.
there you go. Spiritual weapon. Go. You know?
Go.
Yeah, I fuck fighting an orangutan, dude. That would be a nightmare, an absolute nightmare. Like it's just knowing the only relief you would get is when if you survived and it was over and you'd be like, well, at least for a year, I'm square.
No, here's
Or is it
another
a calendar year?
It's
You know?
the calendar year, so it could attack on December 31st, and then it could attack again on January 1st.
That's the thing that would really suck on those years. You're like, well, it's a new calendar year. This motherfucker
Right.
is just going to put me on edge the rest of the time. But, you know, yeah, maybe that you get that one good night that year, one good night's rest. And after that,
Yeah.
it's on.
Oh, man.
Donkey Kong.
Oh, I see what you did there. So Doug has ruled he would fight a chicken in his car every day.
You got the questions, we got the answers. All you do is ask. Practical, 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 practical. Ask Practical Doug.
Welcome to the Throwdown.
I'm liking this immediate transition.
Me too, man. Yes, Wolfslore, I would wrestle with a cock on the daily. You know it. You know how I roll.
That's how he does it.
How I do. Dibba-dibba.
And then ask
Oh,
That cock, he would scream
I'm
out,
showing some signs of being fucking wet.
and that would be it.
all you need, baby.
Okay.
Oh, this is gonna be
What do we got
good.
here?
This is gonna be good. Good.
Oh, I didn't know who this first person. I'm like, I don't know what.
Well, if I feel like all these are your throwdowns because you're so damn good at it. All right, Justin. This week's throwdown is Aang from Avatar the Last Airbender versus Captain Planet.
Right.
I would be
Glad you
happy.
said it.
What's
Yeah.
that?
No, go ahead.
I said I'd be happy to take Aang from Avatar the Last
Please do.
Airbender. please do.
Please do.
Awesome.
Please take that away from.
Let's talk about Aang. So Aang comes from the show Avatar the Last Airbender, and Aang's a bit. I guess we also have to talk about what Aang are we referring to? Are we talking about Aang from the show when he's a child, or is it adult Aang? Like, what are we talking about here? Because that would be interesting. Well, actually, let me back up. I feel like this is kind of simple in a lot of ways because Aang doesn't believe in killing people. That was his big conceit in this show. Because they tell him he has to fight and he has to kill the Fire Lord, and he's like, I'm an airbender, we don't believe in that. We don't want to do that. So that already puts him at a huge disadvantage. Because if this is a fight to the death, and if we're going with the child version of him, I don't think he's in a spot where he wants to kill someone. I would like to believe that adult Aang gets over that at some point and he's willing to kill people for the sake of balance in the world.
Okay.
But would he take away Captain Planet's power, making him inert? That's a great question, because he can do that as well.
He can take powers away?
Let me back up. So,
yeah, please, because I'm very lost already.
So Aang's ability, he is the Avatar, and in the world of Avatar the Last Airbender, that is a singular person that is reborn every generation.
Okay.
And they have had, like, dog just showed up.
Doug, focus.
Sorry. Always running it, Loki. All right. So, we have Aang, who he's the Avatar. So once he's mastered, typically in this world there's benders, what they're called, and they can bend one particular element: fire, earth, water, wind. Those are the four main ones.
Not heart. Okay.
But the Avatar, with training, masters all four elements, which makes them incredibly strong. And their whole objective is to bring balance to the world. They help the inhabitants of the world. They try to resolve conflicts, and they try to essentially, if need be, they will involve themselves and start or stop wars or do what they need to do. So Aang, at his apex in the show, he masters all four elements, and he has this ability called the Avatar state. So essentially where he will summon the power from his past lives, and he is incredibly powerful. However, if he is killed while in this state, the Avatar ceases to exist forever.
Oh, interesting. So
Yes.
there is a potential there's a drawback to being in the Avatar. Again, it's like any video game. You've got this great power, but there is a potential consequence that comes along with it.
Yeah. My dog just opens my door and fucking leaves. Dick. Hold that thought.
That's interesting. Okay. I never knew the conceit of this show. I'd always heard you just speak of it and speak of it highly, but I never understood like really what the whole in and out of it was.
Yeah, so he's got a lot of ability. I feel like I don't even need to read this wiki. Like, he's incredibly powerful.
You just tell me, yeah.
Yeah, and he does discover a way. He learns from a giant lion turtle how to essentially take away, he affects the energy of an opponent, and he's able to take away their powers, take away their bending power.
Their bending powers, okay.
So he's able to do that. So that does play a factor in this.
But the question would be, does Captain Planet bend?
Well, Captain Planet is kind of the Avatar of their world, right? Why don't you go through Captain Planet's powers? Let's break that down.
Sure. So Captain Planet's abilities are never clearly defined within the show, which is kind of a MacGuffin because it allows him to always have a way of defeating his enemies and solving the problem. We've seen him shapeshift. He can alter his structure to take on the properties of any element or material. He can transmute other objects in a similar fashion. He can fly. He's got great strength, and he withstands forces that can kill a normal human. He's also displayed telepathic and empathic abilities. He is weakened, however, when he comes into contact with pollution, including mental pollution, like hate. And he is bound to the physical realm of Earth. Although he is capable of flying into the orbit, he cannot travel away from the planet. In one episode, he's unable to return to Earth completely, as 2 of the 5 Planeteers and their rings, Earth and Heart, are stranded in space. Okay. So
I'm already seeing
really,
a giant weakness here for him.
exactly. Now, I didn't realize, it doesn't say anywhere in here that he is directly, obviously, anyone who's seen the show knows that he is manifest from those rings coming together, but it doesn't state here that he is only brought about by those rings. So
I feel like that's the only time he shows up, though, when people summon him.
100%. Yeah. And I'm surprised that appearance. Hold on.
Because I'd like to say that if Aang could incapacitate the ring bearers,
Yeah.
then even if he is summoned, I would feel like that would,
Who's born as part of Mother Earth's quest to stop humanity from destroying itself. He would be formed when the power of the rings were combined. The rings represent an element of nature, and thus Captain Planet himself represents all positive forces of nature, and it is his job to defend nature from those who would destroy it. Okay. Yeah.
Yeah, so
He's
I
got
think
flight and an embodiment of all powers of nature, but again, only if those rings are there.
that's his huge flaw. And if he is weakened by something like hate, I don't know if Aang would ever really. He doesn't carry a lot of hate in his heart. He's
He's a do-gooder.
He's a pretty good kid. I mean, he means
Yeah.
he has his weak moments where he's incredibly upset. His spirit animal is stolen from him. He almost goes ape shit and destroys people because they stole him.
Okay.
Goes in the Avatar state and summons a tornado, a sand tornado. It's like basically going to whoop their ass, but then he down. But if he were to do that against Captain Planet, that would weaken Captain Planet. There was hatred.
Mm-hmm.
So I feel like Captain Planet's incredibly vulnerable here. I feel like he's bound by his ring bearers who need to summon him. And I would also argue that what happens if they get injured, right? Or what if they get incapacitated or something like that? What happens,
Yeah, I was going to say, if any of them are not present at that fight. Yeah.
Right. Like he relies on them to do that. Because I would say that obviously Aang would whip all the ring bearers' asses. Like, I don't care. They have one particular element. Aang's a master of 4 elements, so
Right.
he's got that covered. So I think
Theoretically, any element they would throw at him, he could just bend it.
redirect and everything.
For
And
sure,
he would throw the full force of nature at them, and I think it would be a real challenge for them to summon. And even if they did, I think he would still be vulnerable in a lot of ways. So I'm going to give this to Aang. I think Aang got this one covered.
Honestly, I don't know much about Aang and the whole Airbender franchise, but I gotta say, based off of what I'm hearing here, I gotta say, Aang!
Yeah, baby. Airbenders all day.
Yeah,
all day.
Wolf says Captain Planet is the avatar of Mother Gaia herself. Is it Gaia? Gaia?
I think it's Gaia.
Gaia herself. Thank you very much. That's kind of
Thank you very much.
a wife. A wife. That's a wife drop, Wolf. You dropped a wife.
You
Right
dropping
on
them wives? God
Yeah.
damn. God damn. That was awesome. Fun. Good. Once again, thank you, Council. Thank you, Wolf, for that
was a really good one.
a great one.
Talk about from a powers and abilities standpoint, a great
Perfect.
matchup. Yeah.
Perfect matchup. So cool.
Now, what if Aang had to fight an orangutan with a sword
Oh, Aang would destroy him immediately.
once a year, and he
No
didn't
problem. No problem.
You
Because
sure?
absolutely.
It's
Because
orangutan.
also his he would destroy the orangutan. Absolutely.
Yeah.
No problem.
All right.
No
I
problem.
don't know. That orangutan's wily.
He is wily, but Aang, he has a lot of times when his body is also in danger, he sometimes naturally goes into the avatar state to protect himself.
Okay.
So, done.
But if that orangutan gets in close while he's in that avatar state and kills him, then he's done.
Yeah, I don't think
He's
I'm
done,
not.
son.
I think if Fire Lord Ozai in the middle of the comet, Sozin's comet, can't defeat Aang, I think an orangutan doesn't stand a chance.
Doug, I can make up words too. Okay.
I know, right? That's just how I feel when people talk about Pokemon. I'm like, oh, this is what it's like when I talk about my stuff. I got it. I listened to someone recently just like rattle off a bunch of stuff. I have no idea what you're talking about. I have no idea what any of this is. Like, I respect what you like, but I can't contribute. I'm sorry. I have no idea what's going on.
I love it.
Justin, what do you got to recommend this week?
So there's a new show out on HBO Max called The Sex Lives of College Girls, and it's a new Mindy Kaling show, and it
Cool.
is fucking hysterical.
Nice.
I have to give Mindy Kaling all the credit in the world. She is an incredible creator, writer, showrunner, producer, actress, or actor. She's absolutely hysterical, and I love the career that she's made for herself. Starting out as, Kelly Kapoor at The Office, and just exploding onto the scene with, oh my God, I'm blanking on what her show was. Was it just
It was called Mindy, wasn't it?
The Mindy Project? Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, with that and then everything else that she's done, she's got another Never Have I Ever on Netflix, which is a great coming of age story. It's about a high schooler kind of figuring themselves out. So this one is about 4 girls who are at this kind of small Ivy League school out east. And it's them. It's a coming of age story, but for college kids. And it's all the girls that she, in an interview, she said, this is all the girls that I wished I was in college, and just, body positive, sex positive, figuring it out, but still fucking things up. And it is, I cannot tell you, I seriously sat there and laughed out loud at this show, and I didn't think I would. I know I'm not the target audience, but good writing is good writing. So I would strongly suggest checking out, it's called The Sex Lives of College Girls, and it's on HBO Max.
Awesome.
What do you
Love
got?
it. I said it last week. I'll say it again this week. Arcane on Netflix. Just released the 3rd act last weekend, and wrapped up the 1st season. I liked it so much, I immediately started rewatching it. I think it's phenomenal. I love the art style in it. It's a mix of hand drawn and CG. It's got such a compelling story for me. I love it. A lot of heart in it, and there's a lot of, for me, emotional moments. It's a very adult show, in a sense of, it's funny because Natalie and I started watching it. I had no idea that it was like an adult show, and she made it through almost the first 3 episodes, and then she got really scared. I was like, yeah. And then I watched the act 2, and I'm like, oh yeah, you have no business watching this. This is not for you at all.
It got real adult from what you said.
Yeah, I was like, yeah, there's violence and sex and things like that, and dropping F-bombs and oh, cool, yeah, that's what the show is. But it's really good.
College Girls, also not for Natalie.
Yeah, I figured.
I'm just gonna throw it out there. If you've got a 5-year-old, don't let him watch it.
Yeah, I figured it's probably not going to be even interesting to her. But this it shows great. They have really awesome moments where they almost turn it turns into like a music video. It's very artistic and flowing, and they do that a couple of times, and it's really it's so well done. I don't know, something about the art on this just really spoke to me, and I think it's great. And I'm absolutely shocked that no one in the Mind Gap community has watched this. Like I feel like I haven't been able to talk about this with anybody, like, at all. I'm just like, nobody's
scratching it. Like, I gotta talk to someone about it.
No one's watched this. No one wants to talk about it. Like, I know it's attached to League of Legends, right? It's based in the League of Legends universe. Okay, I get it. I understand it. I don't play those games. I don't want to play those games. But god damn it, this is good, man. It's been good. Noah's like, I'm trying. I've just been in love with Curb Your Enthusiasm. That's totally cool. I get it.
I get that too. It was hard for me to split away to my show because I'm so into Billions right now.
Right. I get it.
I get it. Hard to start a new one.
I totally understand, man. When someone's like, dude, you got to watch this show. I'm like, hey, man, tell it to take a number because I'll get to it when I get to it.
A lot of good content out there.
Yeah.
But the clip that you sent me to your point, was fucking incredible. Was really,
so
really
good. And there's so many layers in that. Like,
yeah.
I said, I'm like, there's no spoilers because
there's also no context. I had no idea what was going on.
No idea what was going on, but you can enjoy the visuals for it. And that's a very powerful scene, I think, in my mind. There's some really great themes in it. And I'll say this much because I want to warn you, it ends abruptly. Season 1 does. So just know if you're looking for some closure, you ain't going to find it. But season 2 is in production. So it's happening. I think they said maybe 2022. So probably late next year is when it will come out again. Probably, I think they do a League of Legends championships every year, so they'll probably just sync it up with the championships and play it. So I'm assuming probably next November when the next season will come out. Highly, highly recommend it. I think it's a phenomenal show, and I think it's actually one of the top-rated shows on Netflix. So,
Oh wow, that's
if
awesome.
that matters to anybody, but yeah, there you go.
Yeah. Bada bing, bada boom.
Bada boom! Hey everybody, thanks so much for listening. Please check us out on all our social medias at MindGap Podcast, and it would mean the world to us if you would also go over to twitch.tv/MindGap Podcast, drop us a follow. Turn on the notifications so you know when we go live. And also, please, big ask, Justin and I, head over to YouTube, go to our YouTube channel, hit that subscribe button. We're just a few away from hitting 100 subscribers, which is huge for us. We have done dick all with our YouTube channel since we started doing it. I don't know how many, like 2019. I don't even know when we started with it. We didn't do shit with it. We kind of just would toss our episodes and random things up there. But I've been making some YouTube shorts lately. They've kind of, for us, have taken off. They don't mean much in the world of, everything. But, one of them has 3,000 views. A couple have like 1,700 views, which is huge for us. And we saw like a drastic increase in subscribers and views and watches. So it would mean the world to us if you would go over there, hit that subscribe button. At 100 subscribers, we get our own like dedicated URL that we can use, like YouTube/MindGap Podcast, which would be great. So, a sub would mean the world to us. And check out all of, what we have. We've got highlights from our Twitch streams, which were honestly some of my favorite things. I went back through and watched those. Those are fucking funny. We had some good moments in there. If you want to catch the episodes, we do them live on Twitch and YouTube Tuesdays at 8 p.m. Central. If you want to catch the video on demand on Twitch, subscribers can watch it immediately. Otherwise, you can head over to YouTube and catch it there, and we release the audio podcast on Thursdays. And also, I stream a video game stream on Saturdays at 8 p.m. Central. So come check us out for that. I will say, for Thanksgiving weekend, with all the feasts that I'm making and family, I probably won't have anything on Saturday. I might have something on Friday if I have time, but no promises. With the holiday weekend, it's kind of up in the air, but we'll see. So please check us out there. And also, please don't forget to check out Justin as well.
That's true. On Instagram and Twitter at Justin_Michael, spelled Mikel. It's the fun way of spelling it. And while you're in the online realm, check us out on Spotify, on Stitcher, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Samsung Listen, Amazon Music, all those fucking places that you listen to podcasts and love them. Subscribe, rate, review, share us around. The big one for us is sharing. Just copy a link to one of your favorite episodes. Throw it out to your social network, and you can even do that on YouTube. Just grab the URL from one of your favorite clips or one of your favorite episodes on there. Throw it out to your social network. It goes a long way, and it does a lot for us. And then 2east8th.com/mindgap, and just keep an eye on all of 2east8th's social presences.
Yes.
Presences. Yeah.
Yes. We appreciate you guys, and have a happy Thanksgiving. Honestly, seriously.
Very happy Thanksgiving.
I hope you all get to enjoy some time with your friends and family. Friendsgiving, if that's what you're doing. Just taking some time to be together, enjoy each other's company, have a great meal, reset. Listen, it's been rough on all of us. All right. So do yourself a favor, have some self-care, enjoy your time, really do. And looking forward to seeing you all next time. So then,
And Douglas, thank you.
Twitch and YouTube, thank you.
Listeners, thank you.
And you all have a dandy fucking week and a dandy fucking thing.